Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sudharani, professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Welcome back to another session of Core Java Lab series. Today we'll do a program in Code Tantra platform which helps us understand inter-thread communication, and the problem is producer-consumer model. So the producer-consumer model is everywhere, like say in operating systems, the CPU produces data and input and output consumes it. So in web servers, clients send a request, server threads handles them. So here the client sends requests are considered to be producers, and the server threads handles them is considered to be the consumers. So in databases like queries or producers put work into a queue, and then workers which are consumers fetch and execute them. So in media streaming, like multimedia streaming, video decoder produces frames and the screen consumes them. So producer consumer model is everywhere. So not only this, we need to understand what this program teaches us. So this program makes us understand the concepts of computer science and engineering, which are very essential, like understanding of synchronization. So multi-threads access the same resource, so that is synchronization. So multiple threads here means producer and consumer which access the same resource, which is buffer. Without synchronization, two threads may corrupt data by modifying it at the same time. This problem teaches us how to use tools like synchronized keyword, wait keyword, and notify to control thread access. So wait and notify are the methods that are already there in the object class, and the object class is there in the lang package. So next concept that this program teaches us is inter-thread communication. The producer must signal the consumer when a new item is produced, and the consumer must signal the producer when space is available. This is achieved using wait and notify methods. Next, we also will learn about resource management. The buffer has a limited size. In our case, we are giving the capacity is equal to 1. If the producer produces too fast, it must wait for space. If the consumer consumes too fast, it must wait for data. This mimics real world systems like queues, printers, and message passing. So this also teaches us coordination and deadlock avoidance. If you don't use synchronization properly, both threads may get stuck waiting forever in a deadlock. The problem teaches us how to avoid deadlocks and make sure threads coordinate smoothly. So let me walk you through the program. So first let us try to understand what is this producer consumer problem. So this is a classic synchronization problem in computer science. Here we have two types of threads, producer thread and the consumer thread. The producer thread is responsible for creating items like numbers or objects and putting them into a shared storage. We call it buffer. Consumer thread is responsible for taking those items out of the buffer and processing them. Now the main challenge is synchronization. The producer must not produce when the buffer is already full. The consumer must not consume when the buffer is empty. So if we don't synchronize them, both threads may corrupt the shared resource or cause errors. Java provides us with synchronized methods, wait and notify, to solve this coordination problem. So in our program, we have written 4 classes. The first is the buffer class, second is producer class, third is consumer class, and the fourth one is producer consumer demo. The buffer class is used to shared resource where items are stored. Producer class is a thread that puts items into the buffer. Consumer class is used to create a thread that takes items from the buffer. And producer consumer demo is the main class where we run everything. So the first line is the package line, so it is optional but useful in projects. Next are the import statements. We imported linked list to store items inside the buffer and scanner to take input from the user. Next we have written class buffer. So here it has taken linked list that holds items. We set the capacity to 1, meaning only one item can exist at a time in the buffer. So the next we have written producer method. So this method is used by the producer to put an item in the buffer. The keyword synchronized ensures only one thread can access this at a time. So next we are writing a while loop here. So while list dot size is equal to capacity, so then we are waiting. So if the buffer is full, the producer must wait. Okay, so that's actually what we have written. So next we are writing list dot add item and system dot out dot println and produced item and notify. So when there's space, the producer adds the item, prints a message, and then calls notify to wake up the waiting consumer. So that's what actually that lines meant. So next we are writing consume method, which throws interrupted exception. This method is for the consumer. It's also synchronized. And then we are writing the same while loop. List dot e is empty, then we are saying wait. So if the buffer is empty, the consumer should wait, okay, so that the producer puts the item in it. Next is like if something the consumer removes the first item, prints a message, notifies the producer, and returns the item. So that's what we are doing. So int item is equal to list dot remove first, and then we are writing system dot out dot println consumed, and then the item, notify, and then return the item. So then we are writing the producer class. So the producer is a thread class. So in here again it needs access to the buffer and knows how many items to produce. So that's why we are writing private buffer and item count. And then we are writing the run method. In the run method, the producer simply produces item one by one. Next we are writing the consumer class. So this is another thread class for the consumer, and then we are overriding the run method from the thread class. As soon as the start method is hit, the run method implicitly is called. So it keeps consuming items until it reaches the given count. So that's what is the run method of the consumer. So next we are writing the main method. So the main class here is the producer consumer demo, and in here we have the main method. Here we ask the user for how many items they want to produce and consume. So the user is giving the number count in the integer variable n, and then we create one shared buffer, so one producer thread and one consumer thread. So finally we start both the threads. Okay, fine. So as soon as we hit the start, so automatically the run method from the thread class is invoked, and then the program keeps executing. For the producer keeps producing and the consumer keeps taking, but both are in the synchronized manner. So finally, to wrap up the program, so what exactly we have done is the producer generates the item, the consumer takes items, the buffer ensures safe synchronization using synchronized wait and notify, and the main class connects everything together. So this is the classic producer consumer problem solved in Java. I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you for watching.